As our nation approaches the 250th anniversary of America's founding, a familiar face is taking viewers back to where history was made. Filmmaker and host Darley Newman returns to the show ahead of new episodes of Travels with Darley, spotlighting South Carolina's role in the American Revolution. Please welcome Darley Newman. Wow, thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell us, what can we expect to see ahead of these new episodes?
We're really excited. This is, I've been traveling throughout South Carolina and along the East Coast, charting sites related to the American Revolution in the lead up to the 250th commemorations of the founding of the United States. And South Carolina has so many great stories. A lot of them are lesser known. So we have a special episode coming up called South Carolina Revolutionary Road Trip. It's actually part 3, and it will take you through the upcountry, Spartanburg, Clemson University, and places like Kings Mountain National Military Park, 96 National Historic Site, and really share, South Carolina's role in the American Revolution.
Awesome. What inspired this idea for these new episodes?
It's really wonderful when people can see themselves in the founding of our nation. And it's so many of these sites, there's history constantly evolving and being uncovered, especially in South Carolina. So we wanted to go to these places and show viewers, maybe they didn't know that at Walnut Grove Plantation there was a female heroine of the American Revolution.
Wow.
Or about the Battle of Seneca. It was right at Clemson University's campus at Fort Rutledge. And all of these stories, and there's so many people. Kings Mountain National Military Park was so interesting because the ranger there told me that all the time, almost every day, people are visiting that park and they're saying, wow, I had a relative who fought in this battle.
Very exciting. Now, I'm dying to know, how did the shooting process for this go?
So we actually filmed this in last fall, and we have a small crew. There's just 4 of us who travel around, and we love to have locals and experts on camera. So we mixed in the battlefields with great places to eat and drink along the way, like Wade's and Spartanburg. You have to eat, right? And we tried to design the trips and the shooting process so that we can share with travelers like how they might want to go and see those locations. So, while we're at Clemson University, we did go get some ice cream on campus there and all of those things that you want to do when you're traveling. And, we looked at the Esso Club. I had lunch there. So we really mixed in the modern and historic.
That sounds like so much fun. Was there any challenges, though, that you might have experienced along the way?
We always have challenges. One challenge that we face is, I could spend so much time at these sites and we never have enough time. So in particular, like the interviews that we captured, I think I have a 20-minute interview from Musgrove Mill, and we had to cut it down to so short. So it's really translating that history. Again, in our half-hour show, there's only so much we can share. We do hit a lot of sites. So for me, that's a challenge because I'd love to be sharing all of it. And the stories are so good.
So word on the street, you have a new book coming out called Revolutionary Road Trip. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in doing these stories, just as I've shared, like we can't fit everything into these half-hour episodes. And a lot of the history is new. It's being revealed and it's not even published sometimes. So I decided to write a book called Revolutionary Road Trip, where I'm taking people to these locations to share this lesser known history. It's coming out June 30th. And I have 2 chapters on South Carolina, one on Camden and one on the Clemson and one on the Charleston area. And people will be able to go to places like the Berkeley County Museum and hear about the Wassamasaw tribe of the Varnerton Indians and what they were doing during the Revolution. And so many things that we were able to uncover that we put in the show or that didn't make it in, I now have in this book. And you can use it as a guide, but you can also just immerse yourself in the history and learn something new.
And this book is coming out in the summer, correct?
It'll come out in the summer, right in the lead up to the 250th.
Very exciting. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that. Are there any events that you have coming up that you might want to share with us?
Sure. I'm actually traveling around the state coming up. I'll be at the Governor's Conference in Myrtle Beach, We're going to be out filming a new season of Travels with Darley. We're leading up to our 100th episode this spring. So
Wow.
I'm going to be out on the road filming the 100th episode of Travels with Darley. And really going back into our archives and also resharing content that you may not have seen before. So I'm really excited about that, and also doing some tours for the book. So I'm sure I'm going to be in Charleston for that as well.
That is awesome. Super excited about that. I'm actually from Myrtle Beach, so I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that.
Which is another episode in this season, actually airing on February 3rd at 9 p.m. on the South Carolina channel.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll be back right after this.